anything that we have ever had before.
Yes, it is.
The audio stinks.
There's no room for it. There's no place for it.
How are you, man?
Good, how are you? Happy summer,
this
everybody.
is a really good friend. This is Brett Hamilton. When Brett's on the air and we're talking about high tech, you immediately know it's going to be the best brand names out there. This guy only does our top shelf. I was talking before. Yesterday was the 50th anniversary of the Apollo moon landing. My father, and I love my father. Happy birthday to my dad. My father spent over $500 for a color television set, first one we ever owned, because they were going to land on the moon.
And he could watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Buzz Aldrin, who was the second to be on the moon, was supposed to have addressed the cameras so that we could see what was going on, accidentally turned them towards the sun, burned out the color retina, and everything broadcast in black and white.
Right. So much for the color TV.
Oh, my dad was mad.
Well, things have changed.
Our picture quality is so good, but these screens are so tiny, you don't have depth for speakers, so you lose the drama.
You lose the drama, but you also get frustrated because how many times have you been sitting with your husband or your wife, you're watching a show, and he goes, I can't hear this. So the natural reaction is to pick up the remote for the DVR, you rewind it, and you turn the volume up. And turning the volume up on a problem just makes the problem worse. It doesn't make it easier to hear. So what if with the push of one button, and I'm not exaggerating, one button, one speaker, one cable, you could do this. We're going to start with the TV sound, the TV speakers. Watch what happens when Bose takes over.
Long enough for them to recognize me. I learned to ignore the whispers, the lingering glances.
To the naked ear, not bad, but not like that.
These I could carry out my work in peace.
I want you to listen to her over all of the background noise.
After 5 years in this line of work, I learned to notice things.
It's a lot more difficult to understand what's going on.
It's quiet. There's a reason.
When we're just listening to the TV speakers. But watch what happens when we kick back to Bose.
It's time again. It's hard to believe at first, but I got used to it.
Even with all that room noise, you can still understand her.
Yep, every word.
I understand now. In time, they will too.
But it's a way more immersive experience when
That's
you
so
can
cool.
not only hear the dialogue, but you can hear the effects, you could hear the silverware, you could hear the glass breaking, you could hear the sugar, the salt shakers, and all that stuff sliding down the bar. That's how the movies were created. That's how the TV shows were created. When you're watching a baseball game and you hear the crack of the bat, that feels like you're there, unlike when you're at home and you watch, you go, I don't even know what happened. I just see a guy running to first base.
I got to. It's Shark Week.
Yeah. Is it Shark Week already?
Yes,
I know we're in July.
It's Shark Week. The movie Jaws, without the cello, is a bad story.
Just a few notes, but those few notes made a big difference.
And our price on this is really impressive. Bose doesn't need to discount.
Nope.
They're the 800-pound gorilla in the audio world. Dr. Bose, actually a human being, audio engineer, back in 1964 started his entire company with the idea of recreating lifelike sound. This is the entire Bose solo system.
Yeah, and the days of having to put two speakers, three speakers in the front, one in the middle, two on the side, two in the back, subwoofer on the floor for the bass and all that stuff.
And everything else.
It's over. So this is Bose, and that looks pretty and all that good stuff. But what happens when it comes time to hook it up? Well, here's the good news. On the back here, you're only going to use two of these ports. One of them says power, and that's the power plug. And anybody can plug in a power plug, right? Just like plugging in a blender or a hairdryer or whatever it might be. I'm going to hand you that.
Thanks, sir.
But for the rest of you, you go, what about the actual hookup? How am I going to get this to talk to this so that this sounds as good as this should? It's called an optical cable. The optical cable will go in the port clearly marked optical. You can't miss. It's the only place this cable is going to work. You plug it in there, you plug the other end of the optical cable into the back of your TV.
And if your TV is 7 years of age or it's newer, even older than that.
I was going to say
it's
the optical
have an
cable goes back
port.
away. But let me say this, and I don't normally mention this. This little cable over here, this port, this orange one, will do the trick if you don't have an optical port. One way or the other, this can be plugged into just about any television that's been created. So,
and you've got flexibility as to where you put it. We put it right here in front of it, but it can sit on the top. It can sit on a shelf. It doesn't matter. At $200, this will give you a much better television experience. And this is the time of year that you're going to want it.
Yeah.
If you're into sports, for me, NASCAR, etc., I can't wait to get back into football season. There are different times of the year that are more important than TV than others. And those are the times of years where you don't get discounts on Bose.
Yeah, watching Wimbledon this year
Yep.
and being able to actually hear, I mean, not just the grunting, but yeah, every single hit that was there, whether it's baseball, football, whatever sport that you're into. But even if you don't watch sports, as I said before, many of you watch a television show, you watch a movie, and the frustration comes from the fact that you spent all that money on a big TV. This is not a big TV, but the TVs are getting bigger and bigger. Right. But as Dan mentioned at the beginning, there's just physically no place to put a sound system. It's not like the TV companies are trying to put it to you by going, we'll give you a picture, but we're not going to pay for the audio. Where are you going to put a sound system inside something that's this thin? So now, yes, it's a supplement. You have to make that additional purchase to make the difference. But the good news is you're actually getting a 2-in-1 experience here. This is built to be a TV speaker.
Yep.
But check this out. Bluetooth. You hear us talking about that a lot, even with the Coleman Lantern earlier and all the other speakers that are out there. That little Bluetooth icon, when you push that button, allows you to connect to a phone, to a tablet, to a computer. So now, Dan, even when you're not watching TV, you can play your music through here.
Plus, I use Pandora.
There you go.
Because I've got a big screen TV in the man cave, and I listen to my stereo now through my TV, this TV. And this is the Bose Solo 5th series. This is our 5th evolution. We were talking earlier, hooked on it, sorry. The Apollo mission, Apollo 11, landing on the moon 50 years ago yesterday. Bose, by the way, it happened later, because Bose didn't start till, 64. They were the official sound system for the space shuttle.
Yeah, they were inside the space shuttle and part of NASA's whole breakdown.
How incredible is that?
Yeah.
It's the best of the best. This changes the entire experience. Now, I will say this, and I'm not talking about like a Bruce Willis action drama, gunfires, etc. I'm talking about sitting and watching the 6 o'clock news. I can now understand what the heck they're saying after having worn an earpiece for 30 years here and having old ears.
Yeah, and Bose kind of thought about this before we all did in a way to enhance the dialogue. Talk about audio all the time, you get lost in all the tech. The low end, the bottom end down here, that's where the bass is, and the high end up here. A lot of what you hear right now from us comes in the middle, call it the mid-range. And lots of times as we get older and our ears get older and we're not able to make out that detail, Bose came up with a way to enhance that. And it looks like a little dialogue bubble, a little cartoon bubble, whatever you're going to call it, right there. If you're having trouble hearing what you're watching, press that button. That button strips away some of the background. And whether it's the effects or the explosions or the helicopters or a reporter on the news,
Hearing the news.
There's sirens going on behind.
That's the bones of this whole system. Is they understand as an engineer how we hear. And you can't produce lifelike sound until you understand the way we hear. Bose does it better than anybody else. Even if you've never owned Bose, you know that they're the top of the list. Watch this.
Yeah,
listen to this.
I was going to say, close your eyes and listen to the difference.
I've been here long enough for them to recognize me.
This is TV.
To ignore the whispers.
No Bose yet.
Glances.
There you go.
At least I could carry out my work in peace. They knew not to ask questions.
Even with all the background noise.
After 5 years in this line of work,
you can still understand her.
Things. When it gets quiet, there's a reason.
Imagine being in the movie theater and all of a sudden this happens.
Just like that. It's time.
That's a buzzkill.
And also, it comes from a different, you hear it in different
From all
placements.
over, yeah.
I got used to it.
Back to TV one last time, but listen to this big finish.
And this wasn't an increase just in decibels. It's nothing to do. I used the analogy before. It's like the difference between an audio being colorblind or high definition.
There you go.
And this it's like high definition sound.
Thanks, man.
It's $200. That's it.
Get some.
Yeah. $199. Brett Hamilton, thank you very much. The Homes Blizzard.